Yo, man. So I wanted to tap in with y'all today. I had an interview planned, but you know how these things go. You got to improvise and pivot. And to everybody who doesn't know what a pivot is, that's a term about repositioning yourself. How y'all doing today, man? It's Terrence Harris. If y'all watching this the long way, you probably seeing this on YouTube. So I encourage y'all to subscribe and like and do everything that y'all need to do. But I wanted to do my recap a little bit later than this, but I feel like, this is a good opportunity to at least start doing the recap, and then we'll, break it down and then continue to build on the experiences as they develop for themselves. So shouts out to Rec Philly, right? I've started my journey at Rec Philly, and it's gonna make so much sense as we talk about, what I've gone through and what I got going on in terms of why that's even important to mention. But I want to start off by thanking my brother Reason Can Rap, for being a part of this journey with me. And I also want to thank everybody a part of the creative community as well, because this is not easy, right? And, I don't even name this stuff. I don't even create, an entire plan for all of it. I feel it and then I create it. So anybody who's here during these intimate moments, y'all are the ones who I really do this for and care the most about, genuinely, because I don't know where this is all going to take me except what my vision holds. So my vision is that I reverse this idea that being a creative is not a form of being professional or it's not good for business, right? Because I grew up in a house where, we didn't embrace our creative dreams, right? So that's why I want to give that opportunity to people so that they can live their creative dreams. You feel me? And y'all see, I'm in here doing this, right? I'm in here doing this. But yeah, our parents didn't always believe in our creative visions, right? So it put us in a position where we had to foster these beliefs on our own. And so, I was like, man, everybody doesn't have to go through this. Yeah, I might have figure this out, but this is not necessary for everybody else to figure out. This is almost insanity. Requiring all of that from one person versus, getting the assistance and help that most people end up getting. And so that actually built a level of, a little bit of resentment in me, I'm not gonna lie. Because I used to want to foster community a lot. And people would resent me or be mad at me for that. And I never understood what that was, because I come from a position of, if someone's trying to help you, why wouldn't you accept that help? Especially if you experienced hardships in your life, right? You would think that people will want help out of their situations, but then I started recognizing everybody's suffering doesn't equate to the same thing. So what do that mean, right? I was in the trenches going through it. I was catching cases. I was essentially, my life was being ruined. Whether it was due to my own doings or, the system or however way people want to put it, I started realizing no one even cares. No one cares how this happened. All they care about is, what am I going to do about it, right? And I don't want to live that way. If I see you going through something, I want to create and foster the mentality of, well, how can we help this person? What can we do about it? Not just all right, well, everybody got to do for themselves. And I don't know if that has to do with me not being American or me being a black man or me growing up in poverty or me being in a single parent household or just all of the struggles that I've seen my entire life. It didn't make struggling, and it didn't make me admire struggling. I never appreciated that. So anytime somebody was willing to assist me or help me, I was always down for that. So I came in, bushy-tailed and bright-eyed, thinking that that's what everybody would want, right? You struggling, so wouldn't you want some help? And then I started to realize that some of that struggle was people's identity, right? And so we'll talk a little bit more about identity as well. But I started realizing I don't identify with my struggle, right? I understand that is a situation or a circumstance that's been brought upon, several different factors outside of my control. So I didn't I didn't think like, okay, well, I'm just gonna allow myself to struggle or allow the people around me to struggle. That was not an option. That was non-optional. You feel me? Like, I was not willing to even for a second entertain the idea of that because of how much pain I had experienced. And then I could see the pain that other people were going through. So I'm like, no, we're gonna change this narrative, whether it's in the family dynamic, whether it's in your neighborhood dynamic, your school dynamic, your work environment. Like, I wanna change this. And it's like, okay, well, I'm not, just to give some context, like, I'm from Virginia, born and raised, not born. I was born in the United Kingdom. So I was raised in Virginia. And in Virginia, there's no pro-blackness. They just call that what it is. Like, I remember being in elementary school and they used to dress us up as sailors and then have us sing in the chorus, right? And mind you, I barely am acquainted with African American history at this point. So I'm not aware that I'm literally dressed up as the people who oppressed ancestors and other people who I identify with in the African diaspora. So, that's neither here or there. But like me growing up in Virginia, I never got to see small businesses. I never got to see different types of black people. The only black people that I was acquainted with growing up was blue collar workers. You know what I mean? Work hard, whether it's manual labor or you get you a desk job, and then you honor that desk job because that desk job can help you build the financial security for yourself and your family. So you honor that. You like, well, y'all help me raise and protect and provide for my family, so I'm gonna honor this. But what we started to learn is like, once these companies make a certain amount of money, they don't really need to prioritize you anymore because they have enough to cover you, replace you, innovate you, you know what I mean? Anything that would basically give them the leverage to do whatever they want to do. I was like, I don't want parts of that. My dad is a military veteran. Both my parents are military veterans. And so they advocated what most military veterans advocate, which is just go to the military. Don't go through the rat race of society. You can be awarded and afforded those things just by joining the military. So just to give more context to this story, because now it's like I'm unraveling this. I've never told these stories in this type of platform or forum. So, if you rock with what I'm saying and what I'm doing, share this. Tag someone, bring someone a part of this journey so that we can really, really start making this pop in all facets and most, dope places possible, right? And so I remember being 16 and always being like, yo, I'm not going to college because I'm going to the military. And my teachers would always get very frustrated with that. And I'm like, well, what's the point? If the government will pay for my school, this is the same government you're telling me to go get a loan from. So it's the same person paying for it either way. The only difference is if I serve the country, I don't owe the money. And if I don't serve the country, I owe the money. So I'm gonna go serve the country, right? That was my mentality. Then because I had a scrupulous lifestyle, right? I was definitely in my bag, just being being misled, being uninformed, and grandized by my peers for some actions that were destructive, right? Let's call it what it was, because we throw around that word bad so quickly, and that's what messes up the mind of the youth, because they think that they are, some super villain, and they're like, no, you're just misguided. You're not putting no dents in society. You're really just damaging yourself and the people around you who love you. So I'm gonna wrap up this point, and then we're gonna get into our next, topic of discussion, which is like, by the time I realized what the military was doing, I was uninvested. Once I knew that they was just, I'm not gonna get into those politics right now, but like, I did not align with the ethics and the intentions of the military. So, I definitely disappointed my parents with that one. And so then I attempted to go to college once I realized, like, okay, we're not going to the military and we have to create some leverage in society so that we can make money. So I went to school for information technology, and the same thing happened. I saw how the majority of the people there operated in that field, especially the men who looked like me, and they were mediocre at best, right? Very unintegral, very lusty, very inconsistent, and I'm like, yeah, this isn't who I am. This is not what I see myself as. So I didn't do either. You feel me? I was like, I'm not rocking with it. So with that being said, I'm gonna get into my next point, and make sure y'all tap in for more creative conversations, right? Because I don't think as creatives we talk enough about what's going on in our lives so that we can make that real connection with one another so that we can, get more creative stuff done. So that's what we're here to do.